I want to talk about the video game of life because I noticed that most people that I've met in my life, including myself, are willing to grind harder in a video game to level up their character than they actually are to in real life. Now, the thing that's hard about the video game of life is the rules are not clear. Before I started playing the video game of life, I was broke, I was depressed, I didn't have many friends, I had dropped out of college, I had lost my job, I didn't talk to any girls, and I was living at my mom's house. And now after I started playing the video game of life for over the last few years, I have made over $1 million in profit. I got in shape, I'm no longer depressed, I have a beautiful girlfriend, I travel the world, I'm currently here in Bali. I'm actually homeless at the moment, just traveling and kind of exploring the maps, as we'll talk about here later in the video. But I made a really fundamental change in my life when I went from playing games and trying to level up in video games and started playing life like a video game. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how to turn your life into the most fun video game ever that actually never ends until it ends and then it's over. And I wanna share this with you because when I started applying these techniques, my real life got significantly better very quickly, and it's just been fun ever since. Like, I feel like I'm now finally in the part of the video game where it's pure enjoyment. Yes, there's challenges, but viewed through the video game lens, which makes the challenges fun. Before we get into the video, in my life, I am probably the most qualified person to talk about video games because I've sunk over 10,000 hours easily into video games. I don't know how much I actually sunk, but 10,000 hours minimum. In Counter-Strike itself, I've sunk 5,000 hours. I was global elite. I went to LANs, I played ESEA, I grinded League of Legends, all of the Call of Duty since Call of Duty 4 to like Black Ops 2. I played Tarkov, I played basically any video game that was like highly competitive and that you can get really good at. I played and I was started just like in life, really bad and got really good. So I learned the skills of how to get really good in video games. And then I applied the same techniques to my life and it's been amazing. And I want to share that with you because it's really simple stuff, just not really thought of that consistently like that. So how did I even think of applying the strategies in a video game to life? So back in 2020, I spent months grinding a game called Escape from Tarkov. And in this game, there's like an economy. Basically, for those of you guys that don't know, you load into this map, it's like a military game with the gear on your back. So you have like a backpack and you have your gun. And when you go in, if you die, you lose it all. But the goal of the game is to go in, kill other people, take their stuff, put it in your backpack and get out. And then you can sell the stuff or you can use it in the next time you load in. So you can level up in form of your character, but also the gear, and then you can even sell stuff. So there's an economy for that. And basically, I grinded this game, not even exaggerating, 10 to 12 hours a day, every single day during COVID times for 3 to 4 months straight. I'm not even exaggerating. And in this game, I got so wealthy. I had all the gear. My character was maxed out. I was doing challenges that didn't even matter just for cosmetic stuff. And then it all wiped. And when it wiped, I really had this deep thought to myself. Like it forced me to just zoom out of where I was in life. I was 20 something years old. I was living at my mom's. I had dropped out of college. I had no job. I had very little friends, never talked to girls. I was broke and I was depressed. I realized I was being a fucking loser. And pay close attention to what I say because I don't mean I was a loser. I was being a fucking loser because I was. I realized that I had all this potential. I was good at getting good at games. Really fucking good at it. I just spent 10,000 hours doing it. But I realized I was wasting my potential on video games instead of actually doing anything worthwhile in real life. I would wake up and instantly get on my computer and just grind my life away in the game to sacrifice hours to get better at a video game when my life was not taken care of. And when I say I was being a loser, it wasn't like I am a loser. And I think if you're playing games right now and your life's not where you want to be, you're not a loser, you're just acting like one. And there's nothing inherently wrong with video games. I think video games are some of the most fun stuff ever. They served an amazing purpose in my life. They taught me so much, but I realized it was becoming a problem. And hopefully if you're watching this video, it's not a problem for you in your life and you can use the techniques and learn from me being hopelessly addicted to video games, playing forever to translate it into making your life better. And if you feel like you're lost, you're only playing video games, you're not really living life, use this as a wake-up call. So before we get into the game, I just want to show a quick example of how crazily dedicated I was to this game and to what level I was going to sacrifice fun in the game just to accomplish stuff. So in the game Escape from Tarkov, there's this boss called Killa, this guy right here. He has a nice helmet here, he has some armor, he has a really good gun, and he has his tracksuit, most importantly. So in the game Escape from Tarkov, you can get his cosmetic outfit, the Russian tracksuit here, the Adidas tracksuit. But how you get it is you have to kill Killa 100 times. 100 times. Now that might sound kind of easy, but let me just explain to you what that takes to actually do. So like I said, he has all the armor and the helmet, so he's like actually a pretty hard person to kill. But that means you had to load into the map 100 times and kill him. Now every single time you load in the map, he didn't spawn. So there was times where I would load into this map and like, for example, Escape from Tarkov game was anywhere from like 10 to probably like 45 minutes. So when he's not in the map, you're like spending like a lot of times like 30 minutes of your life doing something to not even get to the objective. And then when he was in the map, you were racing everyone else that was doing this challenge for him. So I loaded into this map not 100 times, not 200 times, no short of 500 times. So 500 times 30, I don't even want to do the math, 250 hours, I just did it. But I mean, just right there, to get this cosmetic skin that did absolutely nothing in the video game other than signify to all of the other people grinding the game that I was grinding harder than them. And that was after I had got all the gear, all the money, everything in the game. I was just doing this for like grinding. And the funny thing is, getting the tracksuit itself wasn't even really fun. The funness I attached to it was the grind, actually. I enjoyed the process of getting it. Like loading in and doing the same thing every single day. There was days of my life, like I'm not even joking, days of my life where I'd wake up and do that on repeat every single day of my in real life. Like I would wake up and I would be on the computer and I would go kill Killa 5, 10 times that day. And after I had got all the stuff in the game, and then every like 4 months in Tarkov, it completely resets. They basically wipe your account down to 0. So all the stuff you had worked hard for and got just gets erased. So my guy, I went from having the best gear, infinite money, the cool tracksuit, all the stuff. The game was infinitely fun. I could do whatever I wanted. I basically was just a billionaire in the game, and it was fun. But then it all got taken away from me. And this is when everything changed in my life, because I just had this deep feeling in my body. I was like, what am I doing with my life right now? I am so good at getting good at video games, but at age 21, 22, that's no longer cool. The skill of getting good at a video game is cool when you're a kid and you like hop on Xbox after school and it's like, oh, he's good. But there was no skills that were directly translated. And I was like, there's no way I just wasted 10,000 plus hours of my life and didn't learn any skills. And that's when it really clicked. I decided to start grinding the game of life, like living life as a video game instead of Tarkov. And I just made some simple mindset shifts, like getting better gear was like literally going to the gym and eating healthy food. Like the aesthetic tracksuit was you just transforming your body into a healthy body. And like being able to lift more was like having better gear. Completing missions for me was like posting consistent content because I had loved doing that as a kid and hitting my daily goals. Leveling up was like reading and learning, just getting more in tune with what I actually needed out of life. I mean, loading in with the squad, nothing more fun than that in any video game ever. Forever will miss that. Loading in with your boys, having a good time, was just building a community of people that were also trying to level up in life. Friends that I could go to the gym with, people that were also creating content and trying to make money online. That was me loading in with the squad. Like getting out of the map and selling all my gear for cash was making money online. There was nothing really that much different than getting gear and selling it online or building some kind of online product, digital product, and then selling it online. It was literally almost the same thing. It felt like a video game because I was doing it on my computer. And then loading into new maps and learning about the maps was literally just traveling the world. But the hardest part about the game of life is the rules aren't clear. And in this game, I've realized over my 26 years of being in the game that you truly are the co-creator. I believe this to be 100% true. It's you and God creating the game together. And there are no rules. And you've been told the wrong thing literally your whole entire life. You're told, go to school, get a job, get a house, get married. It's like these things are a world that someone else created. They created the game for you. Now that's great if you want to do it, but take a second and zoom out. Is that something you actually want in life? You only get one chance at this thing. You better build the game that you enjoy instead of the game that you hate, that you're playing someone else's game just because they set out the rules before you. Think about it for a second. So if you're watching this, like chances are you may need to go back to the tutorial level of the game. You may need to go back and learn that, you know what, actually I didn't need to go to school for 4 years for this degree before I even tried out the job. Maybe I should just go try it out. That seems like a better approach to me. But someone laid out the rules that were saying, no, before you can try the job, you have to go spend $100,000 and then you can try the job after you're already in debt and have wasted 4 years of your life. Hopefully you like it. And if you're watching this right now and you've done that, I really do hope you like it, because it would suck to go through 4 years of your life, get in some debt, and get a job that you don't even enjoy just to pay off the debt. That seems like a game that someone else created that if you were aware of the rules and aware of what was going to happen beforehand, you probably wouldn't have done. And I want you to think, like, do you really think the thing that you're doing right now is going to be the thing that you want to do for the rest of your life? That's a deep one. That's a hard one. And not in the sense of you have to do the exact same things you're going to do for the rest of your life today. I'm not doing that. I'm still figuring it out. The game's ever evolving. You can create new levels, create new missions as you go. Currently, my mission, my level of the game is finding purpose and traveling the world and exploring new cultures and downloading new information. Right now, Bali, the map I'm loaded into, right, is a great spot to go and create content, lock in, eat some really good food, level up your character as far as health, because the gyms here are amazing, the foods here is amazing, and it's really, really cheap. But it's maybe not the best for other areas of the game. Like, for example, relationships. Not many of my friends and family are here in Bali. So we'll get into the different stats that you should max out in the game, but you can focus on a few stats at a time and then go and figure out the next ones. So in this video, I'm gonna show you the step-by-step of how to turn your life into a video game and take back control of your life. Start co-creating the game like you were supposed to from the beginning. Create a game that you enjoy playing, because I think at the end of the day, if you focus on one thing but you don't enjoy the game, what's the point? At least I spent thousands and thousands of hours playing video games. At least I enjoyed my time there. But the thing that would really suck is if I was playing the game and I didn't even enjoy it. It would feel like a whole waste of time. Now, I will say, I think video games to some extent were a waste of time in my life, but also taught me a lot of really valuable skills. So that's kind of up for debate. Now, step one, just like in the video game, you have to have a strategy. You have to know how the rules of the game operate. You have to know what's important and what's not. Now, I laid out a few stats here that I think are really important. Now, don't just take my stats as the only end-all be-all stats. Decide what's important for you in your game. But for most people I've talked to, and especially for myself, these are the stats that you should focus on maxing out as quickly as possible. And you should focus on maxing these out to the rest of your life, because they're not gonna be things that you're gonna hit 99, 100 out of 100, and then it's gonna be done. In the game of life, it works a little bit differently. You might get to a 99, and then it might slip a little bit, and then you gotta re-level up. There's no worries with that. So first and foremost, I think one of the most important stats in life is health. Now, this can look like a lot of different things, like physical health, mental health, getting sleep, your appearance, just to name a few. I think wealth is one of the ones that not many people are comfortable talking with, but don't really realize how important wealth is in the game of life. So things like learning how to master income, skills, investment, having ownership in your own content, personal brand, digital products, your own business is really important. Relationships. This is one of the ones that I think is overlooked in the online hustle culture, is like, I just need to make money, and then once I have money, everything's gonna be good. And it's true to some extent. Once you have money, all your money problems will go away, but then you'll realize, oh dang, I'm out of shape, I have no friends or family, and what's my purpose in life? So it's not important to max out one, because a 99 out of 100 on one, but then a 3 out of 100 on all the other ones will lead to a miserable life, at least from my experience. So I wanna get everything as high as possible, and it's more about balance than maxing one out. The next category is relationships. Having good friends that push you to be better, that you actually want to spend time with. Having deep relationships with your families, people that you care about and love. Romantic relationships like a girlfriend or a wife. And then having a community, people that push you. Very similar to friends, but you can have different communities. The gym community, the online business community. I think those are crucial, fundamental parts of having a relationship. Not only having friends, family, a girlfriend or wife, but also having community that pushes you to be better. And then lastly, purpose. And this is one of the ones that I think I've struggled with the most, and I think most people, once they kind of max out health, wealth, and relationships, then start to think about, but it's the, why are you even playing the game? Like, why should I get health to 99? Why should I get wealth to 99? Why should I get relationship to 99? And that's a deep one. You got to think about it a lot. But this is the number one strategy. You want to start thinking, how can I play the game of life on my own terms? What are the things I'm even working towards? Am I working towards the 4-year degree? Cool, but why? And if you don't have the why answer, I think that's a real fundamental issue. It should always start with the why. I want to make more income so I can save myself time and take care of the people that I want. It doesn't matter if the route for me is a 4-year degree or creating an online business, it's which one aligns with me the most. So if you take these 4 stats and start trying to max them out, you'll be on a great path to setting yourself up to enjoying the game of life. The funny thing about the game of life is when you start to nail these 4 stats is really where the game starts as a whole. And I think that's one thing that stops a lot of people from starting the game of life is it takes a lot more time and effort than getting to level 100 in a video game. It's very similar in the approach. It just might take you 5 years to get the game of health unlock. It might take you 20 years to get the game of wealth unlock. But that's okay because in this game, it doesn't wipe and your skills transfer over. So step 2 is one of the most important after actually knowing how to play is taking action. How to actually level up the stats. Now these are not the only ways to level up the stats. These are the 80-20 that I'm gonna give you guys. The things that you can start doing that if you're not already doing, you should implement immediately and you will see huge benefits and a lot of long-term reward for it. Now, there are a bunch of things that I cannot go through on each one of these things, but generally speaking, health. If you lift 3 to 5 times a week, do some kind of physical activity. It doesn't have to be bodybuilding style workout. That's what I choose to do, but anything really works. You can do calisthenics, you can do body weight, whatever it is. Get active 3 to 5 times a week. Eat mostly whole foods. So there's a bunch of different diets online. What I've found is if you eat healthy stuff, the less ingredients on stuff, the better, and just try to do it as much as possible. Eat 80% clean. Like, dude, if you need a protein bar or you need something that's like not super great, just do it. Like, I'm playing the game of life to enjoy it, right? And there is something to really going through these periods of grind phase where like chicken and rice only, and I'm gonna grind all day, every day. But like, that sounds like a generally miserable life if you treat your whole entire life like that. So I like to live my life out of balance, and eating mostly healthy foods is a great starting point. If 80% of your meals are clean, 90% of your meals are clean, you're gonna be good. Sleep 8 hours every single night. This is something that like video games directly stopped me from doing for literally like a majority of my life, because I would stay up till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and then go to school at like 8 a.m. And then I'd be like falling asleep in class and like coming back and taking naps. This is one of the ones that I wish I knew. Like sleep is one of the most important things. And even if you're lifting weights and eating whole foods, your health might actually be significantly more impacted by getting 8 hours of sleep than eating healthy food and lifting, which is insane, but it's true. Your body needs time to recover. Your brain's just not gonna operate at the level that you want it to if you don't get 8 hours of sleep. This is one of the things that is non-negotiable for me now. I pretty much get 8 hours of sleep every single night. That's one of the ones that I'm a little bit less out of balance for, regardless of what time I go to bed. Now that I've played the game of life and have a little bit more freedom, I've kind of set the rules. I can wake up whenever I want. So if I go to bed late, I just wake up later. If I go to bed early, I just wake up earlier. Now, the next one is something that sounds really boring, but has made a substantial impact on my life and health, not only physically, but mentally, is daily walks in the sun. And this is where you can get kind of creative. Like, you can start combining a few of these things. So I think sunlight's really important and walking, but I'll also toss on a podcast or read an audiobook or talk to one of my friends that's successful and just talk about life and business and deepen a relationship. So I use the daily walk as also another way of leveling up, not only by walking, but by doing multiple things. And then, of course, I think reading is one of those things that I took so long to realize that this is the cheat code to life. Someone has spent their whole entire life, 40 plus years, learning one specific thing, how to get really, really great at one thing. And then they dedicated another few years to writing a book, and they're willing to sell it to you for $12. And it's only 300 pages. It's gonna take you 2 to 4 hours to read the book. and you're gonna be able to download all the information that person just spent their whole entire life learning, and you're not reading books. Why? It's one of those ones that it sounds like I identified as a person like, oh, I don't read, that's boring. Like, why would I read? There's YouTube videos. And that's true. I think you can learn multiple different ways. I think that learning through YouTube is a whole nother skill, but reading is one of those things that you can't replace. I think if you're really struggling, start with audiobooks. I like reading audiobooks and also like reading physical books, even stuff on my iPad's cool too. Now, wealth. Wealth is one of those ones that seems really tricky, but I think it's actually one of the easier skills to learn, because once you kind of learn wealth, it's really easy to keep going. I think similar with relationships and health, but it's one of those ones that just feels like it's on autopilot. So my recommendation for you, if you don't feel like you're making the amount of money you want to be making right now, is learn one good skill that makes money. A lot of people that follow me are creators, so hopefully you're good at video editing, creating content, just producing something. That's a skill right there that people are willing to pay for. Now, I think the next thing, and this is a newer wealth creation skill, but posting valuable content online and building a personal brand. Now, a personal brand is one of these investments that the older people aren't talking about because it hasn't been around for long enough, but building a brand and awareness around you as a person is like investing in the stock market, because having people that watch you and trust you and know you will invest money when you have products or something to offer them throughout your lifetime. It will also get you in rooms and around people that you couldn't have if you didn't have a personal brand. So I think early on, especially when you don't have money, taking $500 and investing in the stock market is gonna get you way lower returns than taking $500 and investing in yourself and creating content. Whether that be a camera, buying some information, getting software, whatever that looks like, buying new clothes so you feel confident to hop on the camera. Whatever that money is going to do in the stock market is gonna be so insignificant to what it could do if you started your own personal brand. Now, the next one is having some kind of online offer that generates money regardless if you're actively working or not. I think that's the easiest way to start building wealth, in my opinion. A lot of people say online drop shipping or creating an agency, and those things all work, don't get me wrong. But I think digital products is one of the things that takes a little bit longer to get started, but then it starts working for you in a way where you can make money while you sleep. That's how you get truly wealthy, is having leverage, having ways where you can not actively be working, but be getting paid. Another one for wealth is keeping expenses low while you build. This is one of the ones that I think I did fantastically. I literally lived at my mom's house from that time where I stopped playing video games to grinding my YouTube channel to making over $500,000. I actually was still in my mom's house when I made $71,000 in a single month, and I basically had no bills. So all that money I was using to invest in getting better at creating content. I was investing in the stock market, in crypto, and just trying to build wealth for myself. That way, when I went off on my own, I wasn't in this position where I felt desperate for money. I was actually using money to build more money for myself. So the next step, and the last step, I would say is, be investing in stocks, crypto, or real estate. Now, if you don't have much money, this one's not as important as a lot of people make it seem. I think taking $100 a month and investing in stocks, great if you want to do it, but what would go a lot further is investing $100 into yourself every single month. Now, relationships. This is one of the ones that I think I struggled with the most out of all three of the categories. I was in pretty good shape by the time I actually started making money. I started making good money online, but then I realized my relationship category was really lacking. And even though I was an 8 out of 10 on health and an 8 out of 10 on wealth, I really felt a huge lagging part of my life. And it was hard because I didn't realize that it was so important. I was like, dang, I made the $10,000 a month that everyone says you have to make online, and I have the 6-pack. Like, what is missing in my life? And it took me a little bit to realize it was actually a lot of relationships. Now, the way I think you should level up your relationship, and the way I did, was cut out the people that aren't making you better. Now, an easy way to think about this, and it's hard, I'm saying this is probably one of the hardest things, this is the thing I struggle with the most, was if you hang out with your current set of friends or your girlfriend or your parents, whoever it is, your family, do they make you better? Are you more likely when you go to hang out with your friends, get drunk and get in trouble? Or are you more likely to build a $1 million business? And it seems like a crazy deviation between the two, but you can have friends that push you to be better. They're like, yo, instead of going out and drinking and doing nothing all day, you can have friends that are like, dude, let's go work for a little bit, then hit the gym and let's go on a walk and just talk for a bit. Like that's a real relationship with friends that you can have. But if you have the friends that are doing the opposite, it's gonna be really hard to have both. So if you really wanna level up in life, you need to cut out the people that aren't actively making you better. And that's a tricky one, because it doesn't mean that if you're cutting them off, they're bad people and they're not good friends. They're just not for you at this stage of your life where you actually really care about leveling up. If you want to get the best at the video game, you have to be around the best other players. And it's just an unfortunate truth that really stings for a lot of people, because you start to really love your friends and family and people that, even if they're not making you better, you still feel a connection to. And it doesn't mean you have to go completely crazy and cut them off instantly and ruin the relationship. There's still people that I have in my life that I just keep at a little further distance. And I still really enjoy my time with them. I just don't spend as much time with them. And I spend more time with people that are currently making me better. I think right there with that is surround yourself with successful people. Whether that be, I think early on for me, that was just watching YouTube. It was watching people that had done stuff that I wanted to do and becoming friends with them just by watching their YouTube videos. You are the 5 people you hang around with the most. We've all heard this. But I think we're in a fortunate time now where, just like hanging around them, you can actually watch their content, and it kind of serves the same way. So eliminating the bad people in your content too is really huge. Like if you're watching people that are just living degenerate lives or whatever, things that you don't want on YouTube, you're surrounding yourself by those people, whether it be in real life or in the content. Start finding people online that are doing stuff that you want to do and that you admire to be like, and just watch their stuff. You can also pay for mentorship or go to events in person. There's a bunch of different ways to surround yourself by successful people. Maybe reach out to the one family friend that you know that has a business and just pick his brain. I think another huge fundamental part about building successful relationships is lead with helping. Lead how you can help that person, and they will want to spend more time with you. Instead of what can I get from this person, it's like, what can I give for this person? And if you start every relationship like that, you're going to build amazing relationships with people, mutually beneficial relationships. I will say the one thing with that is just be careful about getting taken advantage of. Realize if people are just always asking you for stuff, and not that a relationship has to be transactional, but if they are taking advantage of you, you will be able to sense that and just cut those people out too, because they're just using you instead of actually being in a mutually beneficial relationship. It doesn't have to be I give you one thing, you give me one thing, but you help some people, they help you. That's how life works. And I think most importantly in any relationship, whether it be romantic or friends or with your family, is just be the person other people want in their life. So be the boyfriend your girlfriend wants in her life, and she will be the girlfriend that you want in your life. Or be the friend that your friends want, and then they'll be the friends that you want. Now, the last category is purpose. And this is one of the ones that at the moment, I really don't have too much guidance on. I think I've done a great job at always creating content and doing stuff that I enjoy, but this is an ever evolving thing. Honestly, all of these are, and I don't claim to know everything about health, everything about wealth, everything about a relationship, or everything about purpose, but I figured out a decent amount. I can't complain with the life I'm having. I feel like I'm in the part of the video game where I'm enjoying every single day, and there are challenges in all of these different areas of my life, but I have figured out the general direction to move towards. And with purpose, I have a little less bullet points, but I think the answer I found is follow your intuition. I think purpose is one of those ones that I have seen so different for so many people that there's less specific sets of rules, but you will know when you are supposed to be doing something or not. For example, a lot of you guys know I have had this YouTube channel where I've been teaching music video effects for the last 4 years of my life, and I've recently made a huge change. And it wasn't because I didn't like music videos anymore, but I just realized my purpose was greater than teaching how to do music video effects. I realized that I actually had a really good skill for leading young men towards success, helping them with digital products, helping them level up their life. And I was really passionate about it. And I know that's a lot more of my purpose than music video tutorials. So even though it maybe didn't make sense on paper, I could have made a lot more money and just grinded this thing, I felt my intuition calling me, hey, this is where you're supposed to be right now. So I had a bunch of other people be like, dude, what are you doing? You're switching up, you're killing this business and you're starting a new one. And it's like, it won't make sense. A lot of times your purpose won't make sense on paper, but you'll just feel it with your intuition. Now, if you do kind of everything on this page, you will be at a really great starting point. And I'm not gonna say that it's gonna take, a month, because it's probably gonna take you multiple years to figure out all this stuff. You're gonna go to the gym once and then not go for another 2 weeks and then be like, damn, I felt better when I was going, but like I need to do it more consistently. Like these are all things that you can't just flip your finger and instantly have success on. But if you're following these ways, you're moving in the right direction. And once you kind of figure out these 4 main pillars, when you start leveling up these stats in your video game, the game becomes pretty enjoyable. I won't lie, early on, it's not the funnest game ever. The video games are more fun early on, for sure. I feel like I'm just now, after treating my life like a video game for the last 4 to 5 years, I'm getting to the point where the video games are less fun than the life game. But for the longest time, it was almost the opposite. But you can play the game of life a lot longer before you get bored. Now, step 3, and this is what I was just talking about. Enjoy the game. I think the game is meant to be played and you're supposed to enjoy it. The journey, like I've had a lot of people, especially when I start helping people make money online, is like I just want to get to $10,000 a month because then when I get to $10,000 a month, everything will be perfect in life. And that's just not the reality. When you think that your life's gonna fundamentally change by getting something, you're wrong. You're supposed to actually enjoy the process because that's part of the game. So my advice to you is, while leveling up your health, wealth, relationships, and finding your purpose, try new things, fail a whole bunch, goof around, and don't take everything too serious. Like I genuinely think the purpose of life is to enjoy and experiment and fail and learn. A day where you learn is a real successful day in the game of life. And one thing I want to leave you with is maxing one stat will not solve all the other stats in the game. And I think the one that people foolishly, commonly think is, once I get this right here, once I get wealth, everything else will fall in line. Oh, I'll wait to go to the gym till I'm making a decent amount of money. Oh, I'll wait to fix my relationship with my girlfriend or my family or my friends until I have money. I'll wait to find my purpose until I have money. And it's like, cool. Like I'm not gonna lie, when you max out one of these things, the other stats get easier to figure out. But if you can kind of all do them at the same time, it's really, really powerful. Now, I think I probably focused on wealth and health before I focused on relationships and purpose, but I had all of them in mind at the same time. And I think I've been able to have a general understanding of how to play the game of life rather early in life at 26 years old, because I had all of those in mind while I was playing. And if you're looking for some mentorship on how to create content and make money online, I have a community called Creator Pass where I literally go through and share everything I know on how I've made $1 million in profit on digital products, creating the content that I love on a day-to-day basis, basically getting paid to create simple YouTube videos. Go ahead, if that's interesting to you, go ahead and just DM me the word apply on Instagram at Brian Delmata, and we'll see if we're a good fit working together. It's where I've been able to help countless creators get to $10,000 plus a month and build their dream life, creating a personal brand and selling digital products. So if that sounds like you, go ahead and DM me the word apply. And if not, go ahead and just follow me on Instagram. I drop sauce on there all the time. So regardless if you're interested in getting mentorship or not, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. But that's all I got for you guys on this one. Peace.